Do you have a startup and are you looking for a credit union startup business line of credit for fair credit? If yes, I want you to really look at this top lenders. Number one, I want you to think about Navy Fed. And Navy Fed is a great credit union startup business line of credit. Okay, if you have fair credit, the only problem with Navy Fed is that they want to collateralize most of their business lines of credit. Okay, I mean you could actually get away with an unsecured portion, but the large part of the business line of credit that they actually give to you if you are a startup, you have to collateralize it. In other words, you have to really maybe have a personal guarantee or something that shows them that you are really in it to actually win it too. Like you got to share the risk. Okay, Navy Fed rarely actually will give you an unsecured business line of credit, especially if you are a startup. And also, if you're a startup, you gotta have been with Navy Fed for at least 3 months prior to the time you apply for this business line of credit. Okay, so this is kind of important to really think about. Now, one thing I want to say here is that they have their business line of credit actually like the maximum is $250,000, even unsecured. Now they will raise the bar if you are bringing what they call high value property, high value collateral. Because if you secure in the business line of credit, then the amount they actually grant to you will be in function of will actually depend on the value, the quality of your collateral. Okay, and also remember that with the Navy Fed, you have a certain restriction in terms of membership. So you got to have an affiliation with the military, either biologically, geographically, or professionally. So for you to really get in Navy Fed is not open to anyone like Penn Fed is, or even Service. Okay, so something to really think about. But the cool thing is that once you get in and once you get approved for the business line of credit for your startup, you're able to use the cash for everything, like to bridge business cash flow gaps, for unexpected expenses, for other operational expenses too. And Navy Fed also has some restrictions in terms of the industries they finance too. I mean, this is a military credit union, so they want to make sure they are really financing sectors that are promoting the armed forces. So that's really something to remember, and it's a good thing actually. If you're looking for a credit union startup business line of credit for fair credit, think about Service Credit Union. So Service is the other credit union that I wanted to share with you in today's conversation. And Service also requires a military affiliation. However, even if you don't have a military affiliation, you can actually get in Service if you actually donate to a charity, or you actually. I mean, there are other ways. Let me just say it this way: there are other ways to qualify for Service membership, and you can actually get maximum of $250,000 for your startup. And Service wants you to be in business for at least 3 months before you actually apply for this startup business line of credit for fair credit. And you got to have a minimum of 579. So 579, that's what they look at. And of course, they'll ask you more paperwork. They'll ask you they might ask you your business plan. They might ask you your first year, your first year revenue. If you have been in business for more than a year, for instance, they want to have a full stack of financials for the first year. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. But Service is really flexible, and they tend to approve business lines of credit within 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so that's really good. If you want to get the ball rolling, I want you to contact right now 1-800-296-4644. 1-800-296-4644. Or you can email the company at business services, that's plural, business services at servicecu.org. Okay, or you can just go to the website, and they have a form on their website, and you can just fill out that form, put all the info that they are asking for, and someone from Service will get back to you. So you have to be in business for at least 3 months before qualifying for this startup business line of credit with fair credit. The third credit union startup business line of credit for fair credit I want to share with you is actually from consumers. What I love about consumers is that they are very flexible, but most importantly, they will work with you. Okay, and they want you to be in business for at least three months by the time you apply. Okay, 3 months, and also, and this is an important element, you have to make sure that you have some paperwork, some paperwork. Okay, they'll ask you for some questions, and just make sure you are ready. You are ready to get the ball rolling. Okay, that's something I wanted to say about this company, and also what I want to say also is that you are able to be approved fast. Okay, Consumers Credit Union. So the maximum line of credit they will give you is $250,000, and they tend to they tend to have the same model as Navy Fed. Like they will gladly finance any secured business line of credit. Now, if you want them to finance something unsecured, they will do so as well, but they will give you a smaller loan amount. Okay. So, for instance, they have secured line of credit. They have a line of credit that are backed by company property like equipment, like accounts receivable. So, this is something to really think about. But what I love about CCU, that's how it's called, Consumers Credit Union. What I love about CCU is that they tend to approve real fast too. They tend to approve you real fast, especially if you can show them that you have good financials. Like you show them your financial statements, your company's financial statements, your balance sheet, your income statements, your cash flow statements, and those are showing pretty good numbers. If they're showing good numbers, chances are they're going to finance you. CCU is going to finance you big time. Okay, and this is something you really need to think about, especially if you want to get your cash real fast. This is really good. And also, if you have more questions, please call 847-672-1888. Again, the number is 847-672-1888, or you can email commerciallending@myconsumers.org. Myconsumers.org. So this is those are the two ways to actually reach out to them to start a conversation. Number four, you have Logix. So if you're looking for a credit union startup business line of credit for fair credit, think about Logix this year. And so Logix actually is pretty generous. So you're able to get a business line of credit, okay, that can go all the way to $500,000. Okay, so Logix actually has two types of business lines of credit. They have what they call the business line of credit. That's just the name of it. Okay, business line of credit, or they have the capital access line of credit. Okay, let me talk to you first about the first one. So in both cases, they want you to be in business for at least 6 months. 6 months by the time you apply. So when you think about the business line of credit, you have credit limits up to $50,000. Okay, terms up to 2 years, and this is subject to an annual review. There is no annual fee. You have competitive rates tied to the prime rate, interest only payments, and you also have overdraft protection for Logix business checking account. So that's for the business line of credit. You also have the capital access line of credit. Here you have credit limits up to $500,000, terms up to 2 years. Again, we have the same conditions. Okay, no annual fee, competitive rates. It's just that for the capital access, you have a larger line of credit. Okay, so from 50,000 all the way to $500,000, you have a big, a big gap. Okay, but it is what it is. Chances are, if you are a startup, and you are looking for a business line of credit, you are more likely to be approved for a business line of credit. Okay, maximum $50,000, as opposed to getting the capital access line of credit. I mean, capital access line of credit actually requires that you have some kind of operational history, which you shouldn't have if you are a startup. So just focus on, if you go to Logix, just focus on the business line of credit and try to really do your best to get as much money from that program. if you're looking for a credit union startup business line of credit for fair credit, I want you to think about BECU. So BECU stands for Boeing Employees Credit Union, so BECU. And BECU wants you to be in business for at least 6 months by the time you apply for their business line of credit, okay? So you have to be in business for at least 6 months. And another thing is that BECU will give you, like how much they will give you depends on the solidity of your business. Like how healthy are your cash flows, for instance, okay? But BECU is not really that generous in terms of lines of credit, because they give you the maximum they can give you is $100,000. So if you are getting an unsecured line of credit from $2,500 to $10,000, they'll charge you 10.75% APR. If you're getting anything between 10 grand and $100,000, they'll give you somewhere from 10% to 10.35%. So really, and you can see the maximum they're giving you is $100,000. So if you're a startup and you're trying to really get money from BECU to grow, you might be a little disappointed, okay? But the cool thing is that this business line of credit has no origination fee. You have a very competitive annual fee. You have secured and unsecured secured options. You also have an NSF overdraft protection. So this is really good from a flexibility point of view, okay? And by the way, anybody can join BECU, so you don't have to be a former Boeing employee to really join the company. No, if you don't live in Washington State, because they're based in the Northwest. If you don't live in Washington State, just donate to a charity, and then you can become a member. So it's not really that complicated. I mean, it's very flexible, by the way. So that's kind of cool. But if you have any question, call 1-800-704-8080. 1-800-704-8080. They're available Monday through Friday, Pacific, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific, or Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific. So you also want to think about NASAF Fed. So if you're thinking about the credit union, startup, business lines of credit, fair credit, think about NASAF Fed this year. And what I love about NASAF Fed is that you are able to get a maximum of, it really depends, but for lines of credit, you can get a maximum of $2 million, okay? And basically, when it comes to lines of credit at NASAF Fed, you have 3 types of business lines of credit. They have what they call the floor plan line of credit. Here you have lines up to $2 million. So this actually has the ability to help you have a short processing time for advances and payoffs, no additional fees for advances or payoffs, and you can receive up to 80% not a clean trading value. So that's for the floor plan line of credit. You also have revolving lines of credit. Again, here we are speaking about up to $2 million, okay? So you have the flexibility to finance up to 80% of collateral, including equipment, personal real estate, and inventory. You have easy access to funds, and you have competitive rates and fees. So that's really cool. And then you have the overdraft lines of credit. Here you have lines up to $5,000. You have immediate access to your full approved limits, okay? And this overdraft line of credit links to your business checking account, and you also have competitive rates and fees. So this is kind of cool. The only thing is that in some cases with NASAF Fed, there could be some geo restrictions. So make sure you double check that with them when you actually apply, and see if they can really finance your startup where you are at. If you have any question, you can contact the company. They are available at 301-249-1800, extension 204. Or you can email businessaccounts plural at nasafcu.com. So if you're looking for a credit union, if you're looking for credit union startup business lines of credit for fair credit, think about Andrews this year. Andrews, okay? And Andrews is pretty interesting in the sense that they give you what they call a business line of credit. So they have an unsecured line of credit. The maximum they can give you is $75,000. Okay, so Andrews is kind of similar to BECU in the sense that they're not really that generous. But hey, listen, $75,000 maximum limit is not a bad thing, especially if you are a startup. If you're a startup, you want to really grow gradually. That's the key. You want to grow gradually, okay? But the cool thing is that you can qualify for credit limits up to $75,000. Andrews wants you to be in business for at least 6 months by the time you apply, okay? And so the cool thing is that you have access to the cash real fast. Now, if you want to secure part of the line of credit, you can qualify for a maximum of $1 million. So if it's secured, the maximum they'll give you is $1 million. If it's unsecured, maximum you can get is $75,000. Okay, and you have to be with Andrews for at least 3 months by the time you apply. Okay, and you got to be also in business for at least 3 to 6 months by the time you apply. So there are some time restrictions to keep in mind on that level. Okay, this is an important element to really think about. And one thing I want to say also is that you are able to get things done real fast. Okay, so this is really cool. And one thing I want to say besides the business line of credit is if your startup wanted to have a loan, like instead of having a business line of credit, you are more interested in having a business loan. Andrews does have good options. Okay, so for instance, you have commercial mortgages, you have commercial vehicle loans, you have you have business, what they call business signature loans. So business signature loans, they're kind of similar to working capital loans because you can borrow up to $75,000 for your business needs. And here you have attractive business loan rates that hold down interest charges for your company in the long run, but also in the short run. So this is really good. So in conclusion, today's conversation, I spoke to you about credit union startup business lines of credit for fair credit. And so those top lenders include Navy Fed, Service, Consumers Credit Union, Logix, BECU. You have also NASAF Fed, and finally you have Andrews. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.